Welcome to the Psychology and Physical Training channel, Aggression, Definition and Nature. Have you ever wondered why some people are more aggressive than others, and how does this aggression impact us and society as a whole? Aggression, by definition, is a response that can result in harm to oneself or others. It's a natural part of human nature, a survival instinct that has been with us since the dawn of time. But when does this natural response cross the line and become a destructive force? Aggression can take many forms, from verbal outbursts to physical violence. It can be directed inward, leading to self-harm, or outward, causing harm to others. It's a complex behavior that can be influenced by a variety of factors, including our environment, genetics, and personal experiences. The impact of aggression can be far-reaching, affecting individuals, families, and entire communities. It can lead to conflict, damage relationships, and even result in legal consequences. Understanding aggression is the first step towards addressing it. Different forms of aggression. Aggression isn't a one-size-fits-all behavior. It comes in many forms. Let's delve deeper and understand the different manifestations of aggression. Firstly, we have physical aggression, which is probably the most recognizable form. When we think of aggression, images of physical fights or violent actions often come to mind. However, physical aggression isn't just about throwing punches. It can also be seen in smaller actions like pushing or shoving. The harm from physical aggression is often immediate and tangible, leaving bruises or scars, but it can also leave deep emotional wounds. Next, we have verbal aggression. This form is not about physical harm, but rather about using words to hurt or belittle someone. Verbal aggression includes yelling, insulting, or using harsh words. The damage from verbal aggression may not be visible, but it can leave lasting psychological scars. It can erode self-esteem, trigger anxiety, and even lead to depression. Lastly, there's passive aggression. This type of aggression is more subtle and can be harder to identify. Passive-aggressive individuals express their negative feelings indirectly, often through actions like procrastination, stubbornness, or intentional mistakes. They might give you the silent treatment or be sarcastically polite. The harm here is more insidious, as it can create a toxic environment and damage relationships over time. It's important to remember that these forms of aggression aren't always separate. They can overlap and intertwine in complex ways. For example, a verbally aggressive person might also show signs of passive aggression, or a physically aggressive individual might use verbal aggression as well. Understanding these different forms of aggression helps us see that aggression isn't just about physical violence. It's a broad term that encompasses a range of behaviors, all of which can cause harm in their own ways. Recognizing these different forms of aggression can help us address it more effectively. By identifying aggression in its various forms, we can better respond to it, whether it's in ourselves or others. We can also use this knowledge to promote healthier ways of dealing with conflict and expressing anger. So, remember, aggression isn't a one-size-fits-all behavior, it's a spectrum, and awareness is the first step towards managing it. What triggers aggression? Aggression doesn't just happen out of the blue. There are certain determinants or triggers. Let's dive into the various factors that can trigger aggression. These factors could be environmental, psychological, or biological, and they can significantly influence aggressive behavior. Environmental factors often play a key role. Our surroundings, the people we interact with, and the situations we find ourselves in can all contribute to aggression. For example, overcrowded conditions or high levels of noise can induce stress, which can, in turn, lead to aggression. Similarly, exposure to violent media or an aggressive role model can also stimulate aggressive responses. Moving on to psychological factors, these are related to our thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. Aggression can be a response to frustration or perceived injustice. This is known as the frustration-aggression hypothesis, which suggests that when our goals are blocked and we feel frustrated, we are more likely to act aggressively. Furthermore, low self-esteem, feelings of powerlessness, or a lack of empathy can also foster aggression. Lastly, we come to biological factors. Our genetic makeup, hormones, and brain structure can predispose us to aggression. For instance, research suggests that individuals with an extra Y chromosome, often referred to as the warrior gene, may be more prone to aggressive behavior. Similarly, elevated levels of testosterone have been linked to aggression. Additionally, certain areas of the brain, like the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, are associated with aggressive responses. But it's important to remember that these triggers do not act in isolation. Rather, they interact with each other in complex ways. A person exposed to a violent environment, for example, may not become aggressive if they have a strong genetic predisposition towards calmness. By understanding these triggers, we can begin to predict and potentially prevent aggressive behavior. So the next time you're in a heated situation, remember it's not just about what's happening in that moment, but also the underlying factors that might be at play. The impact of aggression. Aggression doesn't occur in isolation. It has a profound impact on individuals and society. This statement rings true when we take a closer look at the ripple effects of aggressive behavior. Let's delve into the impacts of aggression, which span across mental health, relationships, and our society. Aggression can significantly affect mental health. Frequent aggressive behavior can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and depression. It's like a vicious cycle. Aggression fuels mental health issues, and these issues in turn can exacerbate aggressive tendencies. This cycle can be hard to break, and if left unchecked, it can spiral out of control, leading to serious mental health disorders. Moving on to relationships, aggression can create a toxic environment. Whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, or a professional one, aggression can cause irreparable damage. The constant presence of aggression can lead to fear, resentment, and a breakdown of trust. It's like an invisible barrier that prevents genuine connection and understanding. Over time, this can lead to isolation, loneliness, and even more aggression. Now let's talk about the societal impact of aggression. Aggression, especially when it's normalized or goes unchecked, can contribute to a culture of violence and intimidation. This can manifest in many ways, from bullying in schools to domestic violence to conflicts between groups or nations. Aggression can breed hostility, disrupt peace, and impede progress, creating an unstable and unsafe environment for everyone. But it's not just about the macro-level impact. Aggression also affects everyday interactions. It can create tension in public spaces, making them uncomfortable or even dangerous. It can strain community relations, foster prejudice, and hinder social cohesion. In essence, aggression can shape our social landscape in detrimental ways. Unchecked aggression can indeed lead to serious consequences. It's like a pebble thrown into a pond. The ripples spread far and wide, affecting everything in their path. And just like the pebble, the impact of aggression can't be undone once it's set in motion. The impact of aggression goes far beyond the individual, affecting everyone around them. So, understanding aggression and its effects is not just beneficial, it's crucial for our collective well-being. It's a step towards building a more compassionate and harmonious society. Controlling aggression. Aggression isn't a lost cause. There are ways to control and manage it. The ability to control aggression can lead to improved relationships, better mental health, and an overall increase in life satisfaction. So, how do we go about taming this beast? For starters, cognitive behavioral techniques are a powerful tool in managing aggression. This approach helps us to identify and change destructive or disturbing thought patterns that have a negative influence on behavior and emotions. It's all about recognizing the triggers, understanding the responses, and learning to choose a different, more positive course of action. Next, let's talk about mindfulness. This technique, rooted in ancient practices, is about being fully present in the moment, not overreacting or being overwhelmed by what's happening around us. It's about acknowledging our feelings of anger or frustration, but not letting them dictate our actions. Mindfulness allows us to step back, take a deep breath, and respond to situations with clarity and composure. But sometimes, despite our best efforts, we might find ourselves struggling to keep our aggression in check. And that's okay. It's important to remember that seeking professional help is not a sign of weakness, but rather a step towards self-improvement. Therapists and counselors can provide a safe space for us to express our feelings and can equip us with strategies and tools to manage our aggression effectively. Moreover, controlling aggression isn't solely about suppressing our feelings. It's about dealing with them in a healthy and productive way. It's about expressing our emotions assertively, not aggressively. It's about using our feelings as a catalyst for positive change, rather than allowing them to lead us down a destructive path. Remember, aggression, like any other emotion, is a part of human nature. It's not inherently bad. It's how we choose to express it that makes all the difference. By learning to control aggression, we can improve not only our lives, but also the lives of those around us. Aggression is a complex behavior with many facets. That's where we began, and it's a truth that's been reaffirmed throughout our exploration. We've seen aggression in its many forms, from physical to verbal, direct to indirect, and reactive to proactive. We've delved into the determinants of aggression, acknowledging that it's often a product of both nature and nurture, influenced by factors like genetics, environment, and personal experiences. We've also examined the impact of aggression, recognizing its potential to cause harm, not just to others, but also to ourselves. Yet, we've also learned that aggression is not an insurmountable problem. With effective strategies, such as improving communication skills, fostering empathy, and practicing self-control, we can mitigate its negative effects. Understanding aggression is more than just understanding a behavior. It's about understanding ourselves and others better. Until next time, remember, knowledge is power. And if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe and follow to the Psychology and Physical Training channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.